This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, look at me.
All right.
I'm positively glowing.
Yeah, you turned the light on. Is that why you turned the light on right before we started? Just so you could say you were glowing?
It's because it's getting dark out. No, I'm glowing. Don't you see how wonderful my skin looks?
Are you pregnant? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Tim, I've told you multiple times you can't get pregnant.
I've told you multiple times. Go see the movie Junior.
And you know what? I still haven't seen it, so that is on me. I don't know why I haven't seen it. It's right up my alley.
It's right up both of our alleys.
Arnold Schwarzenegger comedies. You can't get better. A master of the form.
And we've referenced it so many. I referenced the movie Junior more than any other movie on Earth, and I've never even seen it. I'm making a lot of assumptions based on that movie poster.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious in its own right.
That seems like one of those movies that, isn't available. Isn't available streaming. You're going to have to buy a used DVD of it off eBay to see it.
Yeah, I'll do it. Who do you think buried it?
I don't think anybody buried it. I just think
the medical community. Just putting ideas in people's heads.
They know
that a muscle man could have a baby.
Yeah, the fertility clinics were just overrun with men demanding to be impregnated after that movie came out.
All these hulking strong men were banging down the doors of fertility clinics. I want to be Junior. Was he Junior?
No, the baby was Junior, you knucklehead.
I don't know that we know that for a fact.
Yeah,
Tom.
it would be weird if he was Junior.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is Bob Jr., the father of the first man to have a baby.
I wonder
if the other father, Danny DeVito.
I wonder how much into the science of it that movie gets. It's he doesn't have a womb.
You know, I think we're going to have to see it and report back next week.
I think, if anything, somebody like Arnold Schwarzenegger's got less room inside than the average person because he's got so many muscles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the baby would be all wrapped up in muscles and tendons.
Exactly. Yeah, we got to watch this movie and get back to everybody.
Complete Guide to Everything Movie Club. Junior, 1993's Junior? When did that come out? Or was that later? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I feel like a little later. But check it out on eBay.com.
But you don't notice how good my skin looks, Tom?
No, I don't. Well, we're on video with each other, so I blame the video quality.
Yeah, and I don't have my ring light set up.
Yeah, usually you have a very nice 3-point lighting system.
Yeah, for my Instagram lives.
Oh, I thought it was just for me on this, which is why I appreciated it.
Tom, I started a new skincare regimen.
Oh.
A skincare regimen. My previous skincare regimen was once in a while I'd wash my face when I was taking a shower.
Once in a while I used a Brillo pad to scrub the old face.
Tom, get this.
Okay.
I'm tending to my face twice a day.
Wow.
Morning and night.
And here I am thinking that was just your neck that threw up.
That's a very hurtful thing. You say that sometimes, and sometimes, in the fall, around October, you always ask me if I'm wearing a mask. A scary mask.
Well, to be honest, a lot of times you are, but when you are, then I pretend like you're not wearing a mask.
That's true.
And I say, oh, Tim, you look good today. And you're like, I'm wearing a witch's mask.
The warlock's mask.
I thought it looked good.
And then other times, you ask me if my face hurts. Mm-hmm. I say, no, why? And you say, because it's killing you.
Yeah.
That's another one that you say. So you bullied me into this.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad it finally worked and you got a skincare routine.
Tom, I'm washing my face.
Okay.
I'm drying my face.
All right.
And then guess what?
Moisturizing?
Wetting it up again. Moisturizing
Yeah,
it.
well, that's not wetting it again. It's
Yeah, it is. It's putting moisture on it. What is moisture if not wet?
Yeah, but it's not the same, which I think is probably why you haven't done it to this point, because I think you probably thought, like, well, if I'm dry on my face, why am I going to wet it again?
Partially.
Right. Or why should I buy some fancy moisturizer when water is free? I could just put water on my face.
Yeah, but
God's
like
moisturizer.
also, I've long been interested in moisturizing my face, but then I take a trip to the Walgreens or the Duane Reade, and I see, and it's all like, dude, sweat moisturizer. There's no like moisturizers targeted towards men that isn't like snakes on your face moisturizer or something.
No,
that's
there
like
are.
meant to.
I have one it's
Not
just
not in the aisles of any drugstore I've been to, my friend.
No, I have one. It's like not Nvidia. They make graphics cards. Nivea.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up. Men's moisturizer.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, Tom, I've never seen that.
Well, I'm telling you, they got it online, and it just says face lotion, and it's fine.
That's not moisturizer, Tom.
Protective lotion.
It's lotion.
Moisturizes and protects, it says.
Yeah, I'm not looking for protection. I'm just looking to get it all moist.
I mean, I'm
looking to be, on a day-to-day basis, 20 to 30% moisture.
as wet as possible.
Well, not too
this-
wet. I don't want to look like freaking Flop Sweat McGee walking in.
Papa John?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, and it does say maximum hydration, which I feel like is like maximum hydration. But aside
Exactly.
from that, it's very
I
wanted
wanted to say reasonable hydration.
now.
I wanted to say a nice amount of wet.
I mean, yeah, there's no way it could be maximum hydration. Maximum hydration would be like a water slide or something,
Yeah.
or at the very least a wave pool.
That'd be a cool name for a water park. I'm going over to Maximum Hydration on Saturday.
That'd be a good name for a water slide.
Yeah.
Have you tried maximum hydration? I thought I was going to die on it. The lifeguard was barely paying any attention, and everybody
Tom-
was breaking the rules.
If I was a billionaire,
Uh-huh.
first order of business, private water park.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, and nobody...
It sucks. I can never go to a water park again because I'm too grossed out by the general public.
Well, and like, anyone our age that isn't a maniac, you're going to get laughed at by the teens when you take your shirt off.
Yeah. And guess what? God love them. I went to the beach yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I went to the beach with my parents. Look, okay, I'm a nerd. I hang out with my parents sometimes.
I didn't say that. You're projecting.
And there were some teens at the beach with a loud radio, and my parents were like, "Bah," and I was just like, "Dude, just let the teens be stupid teens. The summer sucks for them. Let them go to the beach and play their crappy music on their radio."
I mean, what it sounds like to me is you went to the beach with your parents and you reverted to being a teen. Did you go and approach those teens?
Yeah, I
and
tried to hang out with them.
and say,
I
like,
told them
"Oh,
about
these-
you
these
should have
two
seen my
olds."
boogie board.
These two old farts over here, they wanted you to turn the music down. And I was like, no, man, I love this boogie. Let's tune it up.
What are you guys listening to? Trap music? I love trap music. I've read about it on pitchfork.com.
Hey, you guys know Sublime? They're a pretty cool summer band.
Man,
If any of you have an acoustic guitar, I could just play some for you.
Sam, not only do I wash my face, dry my face, and then wetten it up again with some moisturizing cream, couple times a week, I exfoliate.
Ooh.
You ever exfoliate your face, Tom?
No, I'm afraid.
Tom, you'll immediately feel like, why have I not been exfoliating for all my life? Your face it just feels so fresh and soft. I think the main problem with my new skincare regimen is I always want to touch my face now.
Right. Yeah, and that's the worst thing for your face and your overall health in the current moment.
Yeah. Get this though. Everybody else wants to touch my face.
Does
Squeeze my cheeks. Every time I walk down the street, everybody goes, "Aww," and they come and they pinch my cheeks.
Well, you should be wearing a mask. They shouldn't be seeing them cheeks.
Yeah.
At any point while you were exfoliating, were you afraid your beard was going to come off?
No, and this is where I'm going to save money, Tom. I'm not exfoliating under my beard.
That's the part that needs the most exfoliation, I'm sure.
Well, guess what? Nobody's ever going to see it. It's fine. I'm never not going to have this beard. I have a weak chin.
What do you do? What's the exfoliating? You got like a loofah or something?
No, it's you take this goop. I have a charcoal-based one. It's got rocks in it or something. I don't know. It's goop. And you rub it all over your face for like a minute or something. And then you rinse it off. And then your face, it doesn't get all bloodied like I was afraid of and like you're probably afraid of. No, they get rocks
figured
just
it out.
a little bit jagged, but just smooth enough that it won't cut up your face.
So they won't just put any rocks in there. They keep an eye on the rocks going into the thing.
Yeah. No, they probably have a guy picking them off a conveyor belt. He's wearing a hairnet.
And he's like, too
gloves.
big. This rock's too big. You'll kill a guy. You'll rip his face off. You put this in the lotion.
Yeah, this one's too sharp. This rock's too sharp.
Yeah,
And
this rock's too dull.
Yeah, it's like, well, what are we doing? We're gonna put dull rocks in here, and people's faces aren't gonna get exfoliated at all.
Somebody's gonna return the lotion if they get these kind of dull rocks in here.
Yeah, and that's the gang down at the exfoliating factory. Tommy.
Yes.
People have been waiting for a full week with bated breath for this episode.
Probably a lot of people signed up for the Patreon after last week just to get a day early, 2 days early, a day early.
A day, sometimes a couple hours early.
No.
But ad-free.
Yes. Yeah. To hear what part 2 of Chipotle was going to have in store. You know, I will say, Tim, there have been a few multi-part episodes that we've never done a part 2 of. So I'm glad we're wrapping this one up. And then we'll never have to think about Chipotle again in our lives.
Well, as soon as we finished recording last week, Chipotle part 1, you were like, you asked me, should we do part 2 next week? I was like, yes, we won't. Number 1, we won't have to think of a new topic. And number 2, if we don't do it next week, we will never, ever do it.
Right. If we don't do it next week, 5 years from now, we'll be like, have we ever done Chipotle? We'll be like, oh, we did a part 1 5 years ago.
And then we'll just be like, oh, we should do part 2. And it would probably be exactly what was in part 1.
Like, we got a limited number of thoughts, everybody.
It's true. We're doing this for a number of years. So Chipotle, last week we really focused on the corporate culture because we're a couple of suits, you and I.
Yeah, a couple of corporate headhunters. I mean, that's not. We don't hire for corporations.
I don't know what though. We'd be pretty good at it. We're a good judge of character.
Boy, if some fast food chain wants to hire us to like interview potential new C-level executives, I think we could do a very good job.
I actually don't. I think I am an awful judge of character.
No.
Here's what I know about myself.
But you don't need to have good character to run a fast food corporation. You just need to have good ideas.
No, but here's the thing. If somebody is nice to me, I'm on their side. I'm just like, I like this guy. This guy's great. And it doesn't matter. Like, intellectually, I know, like, if they're a bad person and they're bad to everybody but me, I'm still kind of, like, charmed by them. It's like, this guy's all right, though.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, I've seen you interpret slights that weren't intended from people that are like universally beloved, and you're like, nah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just a poor judge of character, Tom.
Hey.
Do not do not hire me to interview C-suite candidates for your multi-million-dollar company.
It's not necessarily a bad judge of character. I think you're just very, you only care about how somebody treats you.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
Right, and I think that's a bad... I can't glean much about anybody's character with how they feel or act towards me, because I'm a polarizing guy, Tom.
It's true. A lot
love
of people
me or
hate
hate me. Yeah, but most people love me.
A lot of people strongly dislike you.
Yeah, but a lot of people really, really, really love me. Most of them are in love with me. I would say 90% of the people I encounter in a day fall in love with me. Head over heels.
Most of the people have a unrequited love for you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't requite all of it, Tom.
Right. And those people, they're just doomed to live a loveless life.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. And with my new improved skin,
it's
only going to get
worse.
Yeah.
Some people that previously were repelled by your personality, might just fall in love with your skin.
But his personality is odious. But God damn it, look at those pinchable cheeks.
I wish he'd put a mask back on. Yeah, so we talked a lot about the corporate structure, the corporate day to day at Chipotle. We talked a lot about Mark Crumpacker. We talked a bunch about
cocaine.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mark Crumpacker and cocaine go hand in hand.
Yeah. More like Mark Cocaine Packer.
Right. And
Are we gonna get sued now?
More like they go together like noses and mirrors.
Yeah.
And credit cards to chop up the cocaine.
Right.
No, I think he's on the straight and narrow now. He's a good guy.
You have to be rich to do cocaine because you need a credit card. First of all, a mirror ain't cheap. Mm-hmm. And second of all...
well, mirrors are pretty cheap.
You have to have not a mirror that you want to put stuff all over. You buy a mirror, you make an investment in a mirror. You don't want to be touching mirrors, putting stuff on the mirror. You want to hang it up and hands off the mirror.
Yeah. Why did a mirror become a thing that people do coke off of?
I don't know. Because it's flat.
Yeah,
non-porous.
But a lot of things are flat and non-porous.
Not that are like super readily available.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you have like a pane of glass or something?
Yeah, but do you have a pane of a mirror? What kind of mirrors are people using to do cocaine?
I don't know. I've never seen cocaine or seen anybody do cocaine. I don't understand cocaine. You need to be rich. You need to be able to afford a mirror that you can just put stuff all over.
Well, some people do it off a toilet seat when they're desperate.
You need a credit card to chop it up.
Yeah.
And you need a
$100 bill.
Yeah, to sniff it up your nose.
Mm-hmm. Boy, it must smell great for people to like it that much.
So expensive, yeah. So we talked about all that stuff, and you'd be forgiven if you listened to that whole episode and you were like, now what does this company sell?
Right.
Because we didn't talk about the food at all.
No. I do want to, I have a little corporate follow-up.
Okay. Look, we can't help ourselves. We're white collar guys.
Yeah. A few things. One, apparently, a while ago, they were getting into a lot of trouble. They had a lot of undocumented workers. Mm-hmm. And to fight it, they hired the former head of ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Mm-hmm. I mean, that shouldn't be allowed. You shouldn't be allowed to, like, leave and then go work for Chipotle to stop them from getting in trouble hiring undocumented workers by just being like, cool, day one. What should I do? And they're like, oh, help us. And they're like, oh, well, here's how they work. Here's what they look for.
Yeah, well, That's the cycle of corruption, huh?
Yeah.
The revolving door.
Yeah. Anyway, that was one thing.
Man, Chipotle paid him to leave a great organization. They must have really had paid him a lot of money.
I think it was a she, Tim. So very sexist of you. Hey, women can be awful too. But then they also did we talk about this? I think we may have alluded to it, but not talked about it in depth. That they hired away Brian Nickel from Taco Bell to be their CEO.
Yeah, we talked about this at length.
And the Taco Bellification of Chipotle.
We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Remember, we had the thought experiment at the end of the episode. If you had to choose,
right,
Taco Bell or Chipotle
Yeah.
to go away.
Mm-hmm.
We alluded to the Taco Bellification of Chipotle, but we didn't really get into it much, and I think that more has to do with the menu and the food.
Yes,
so I think we can go into that,
right.
And on a technicality, you can talk about your corporate stuffed shirt topics under the guise of talking about.
Tim, you just said
food.
that we're both white collar guys.
White collar criminals
But
ripping off grandmas,
also-
working man.
Also, I was looking into their investments because famously, like McDonald's put eventually a huge investment and then got out of them. Qdoba, one of their competitors, was owned by Jack in the Box for a little bit. So these established.
Yeah, but Jack in the Box is a toilet
Oh,
restaurant, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But
even when I proudly ate all sorts of fast food, whenever I was in LA, I was like, I'm going to try Jack in the Box. And I think I lost my nerve whenever I'd get to the drive-thru. I'd see all the stuff there and be like, you know what, I can't do this. This is too gross.
It always looked like a place that installed car stereos. But
Tom,
what?
that's because in the town that we grew up in, there was a place called Jack in the Box Car Stereos.
Yeah. That's why it always looked
I don't
like
know that anybody else other than the population of our hometown would really make that association.
Well, look, if Jack in the Box...
And the closest Jack in the Box is like 3,000 miles from where we grew up.
Well, even still, the Jack in the Box lawyers were asleep at the wheel because they should have gone after his brand confusion for me as a young man. But so once Chipotle became big, they were like, well, now we got to start investing. Some of their investments, do you remember the television show America's Next Great Restaurant?
Tom, this is all over my notes.
And
Tom,
how we were so excited about it?
Yeah, it was 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Ells himself was one of the judges.
Yeah, the
and
former
people,
CEO and founder.
Yeah, and it was people pitching. It was a reality competition show. And it was people would pitch a fast casual restaurant concept.
Right.
And then every episode was building a different element of it, like the visual style, the menu, the layouts of the stores, the marketing campaigns.
We're searching for America's next great restaurant.
This March, America's Next Great Restaurant will help someone take one simple restaurant idea and turn it into a dream.
Here I come, here I come, here I come.
Damn, wow, this is unbelievable.
It was hands down. It was a show that was made for me. That's
Right.
all I care about. Everything that goes into like building a chain restaurant,
Right.
is so fascinating to me. Do you remember why they didn't air their final episode?
I don't remember, but I did see that the winner closed after 5 weeks of being open.
Yeah, there were terrible, terrible ratings for that show. I think I was one of 5 loyal viewers. And then the last episode where they announced the winner was preempted by a news report that Osama bin Laden had been killed.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
And the ratings
Well, of course
for
I
this
remember
show,
that Osama bin Laden was killed.
Yeah, Tom.
But I remember it like preempting the finale.
Yeah, and the ratings for all the other episodes were so bad that NBC was like, we're just not going to re-air the final episode where they announced the winner. So that I don't think that ever aired on television, where they like crowned the winner of like the 12 episode season.
They probably threw it over to like MSNBC or something. Played in the middle of the night. But yeah, it was a restaurant called Soul Daddy. 2.3
soul food concept.
Yeah, $2.3 million investment. And like, yeah, I mean that, you know what? That doesn't sound bad on the surface, like a soul food fast casual, but it kind of goes against what soul food is supposed to be, which is like very home cooked and which I get, which is what fast casual places are trying to do. But I feel like that was like a bridge too far, maybe.
Yeah, and also it was the winner of a reality show that nobody liked. It's
Right.
not like, and I'm sure Steve Ells was the kind of guy that was like, all right, great job, guys. And then like he took it back to his guys and was like, all right, so can we do a fast casual soul food place? I want to destroy this person's business, and I think we can do it better.
Well, no, because Chipotle put $2.3 million into
Oh, really?
it. Yeah, like they were like Steve Ells was behind it. Like it was like, no, if this, you know, this going forward is going to have like a majority, maybe I assume majority, I don't know for sure, but like Chipotle is going to own this, and Chipotle is going to use its expertise to chain this out and make a bunch. That didn't work. In the same year, they launched Shop House Southeast Asian Kitchen.
Yeah, did we or did we not talk about this last week? We didn't?
I don't know. I don't think so. And then 2013, Pizzeria Locale, which was a pre-existing place, and 2016, Tasty Made Burger.
Yeah, that was only one location.
Yeah.
In Lancaster, Ohio.
None of these have done well, I believe.
Shop House and Tasty Made are gone. And Shop House they blamed on the kind of bad press from all the food poisoning stuff at Chipotle.
Right.
Clouded their prospects, and they didn't have a strong enough brand yet.
Right.
And they only had 15 locations. Pizzeria Locale.
So they blamed Shop House didn't work because our existing restaurants got a lot of people very sick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like
there were hundreds and hundreds of these restaurants.
Yeah.
So like it would take more than that to kill Chipotle, but Shop House had 15 locations.
Yeah, and people were like, "Oh, I'm not going to try their secondary locations."
And then Pizzeria Locale contracted a lot, but now they've been expanding in the Denver area. And,
okay, well, they were
a
a pre-existing chain. So I think that was more of a like Chipotle put in a substantial investment. I don't know if they still have that investment or not. And to wrap up corporate talk, they blamed their slow growth in the United Kingdom based on an unfamiliarity with Mexican food, which did not, hold a lot of water because at the same time, like other Mexican chains were taking off in the UK.
And also Chipotle isn't really Mexican food.
Yeah, I mean, it's American Tex-Mex,
right?
For the most part, and like I don't know, you don't necessarily need that much familiarity with it. Like the ingredients are pretty standard. There's nothing that exotic on the menu at Chipotle.
And I've seen the abominations the UK Pizza Hut comes up with. It's not like, oh yeah, well. People in the UK just don't eat that food. No, they're as gross as we are.
Yeah, they're willing to try anything.
Their gross stuff is even more depressing than our stuff. At least our gross stuff is vibrant.
Right. Theirs is
more. Their gross stuff is like gray and brown.
Right. Tim, you're still just upset about having to go to a Sunday roast one time.
Yeah, it's depressing there. All right, enough of our corporate bullshit here,
Yeah,
Tom.
let's talk about the...
If I was ever on the cover of Rolling Stone, Tom, I think I would wear a shirt that I hand wrote "Corporate Magazines Still Suck" on it.
Who did that?
The godfather of grunge, Mr. Kurt Cobain.
Wow.
You know what?
What?
Listen, Kurt Cobain, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't have it both ways, man. You can't be on the cover of Rolling Stone and be like, yeah, but Rolling Stone sucks, right?
Yeah,
so
it's
don't do it. So don't
Yeah.
be on the cover.
Yeah, if you think they really suck, then just don't be on the cover.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain, obviously extremely talented man, and it's a shame he's dead. However, if he were still alive today, he would be an insufferable person, I'm sure.
I don't know. I think he would have...
You think he would have mellowed out?
Dude, he was 27.
That's true.
When I was 27, I was a million times more obnoxious than him. And
Yeah,
I
but
didn't
you've
have a
just gotten-
talent in anything.
You've gotten more obnoxious with age, though.
No, I've mellowed out a lot, Tom. Right? Would you agree?
A little.
And
I think
Kurt
it's
Cobain,
just you get like blackout drunk less often. So as a result, yes, you're less obnoxious.
All right, I'll take it. I didn't ask for commentary as to why I'm less obnoxious.
Well,
But we all agree that I'm less obnoxious
that's
than
all
I was
that matters.
2 years ago on my 27th birthday.
All right, Tim, let's get into... Hey, enough of this sea-level talk. Let's get to the...
Yeah, let's talk to the hoi polloi.
Let's get to the street level. Let's see what's going down on the streets at Chipotle.
Well, I'm connected to the streets. They call me Timmy Street Smart.
I heard from a source on the street that you may have had Chipotle as recently as only a few hours ago.
Tom, I live dangerously close to a Chipotle Mexican grill.
Okay.
Tom, I can be at Chipotle in 90 seconds if I need to be.
Whoa. That,
Tom,
yeah.
I mean, it depends on how the elevator situation goes in my building.
Right. So like no more than 3 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, it's alarming, and it's a good thing.
And now
I'm not Kurt Cobain's age when he died. When I lived here, because I'd go to Chipotle every goddamn day of my life.
And now what's the cross streets you live at?
The cross streets of 1616 Mockingbird Lane.
Tim, that's where the Munsters live.
It's how it's pronounced, monsters. You always make this mistake. There are a bunch of monsters living in a house, Tom.
So what?
Remember when a mutual friend of ours asked for the address of the White House, and you said 1616 Mockingbird Lane, and did he punch you? He got so mad at you. Is Paul?
Yeah, no, I think it was.
He told you to go fuck yourself.
I think he wrote it down or something. I think it's 1515.
Oh, I don't. You know what, Tom? I'm not a big fan of the monsters. I'm an Addams Family guy.
I don't know. I think he wrote it down, and then I laughed, and I was like, "That's not where the president lives. He lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's where the Munsters live." And he got real mad at me. He was looking to write a letter to the president or something.
Would you ever write a letter to the president? What would you say in it?
The current president?
No,
It's
just
not
any
safe
president.
for the podcast. I don't know. I don't. What would I write to the president? They're not going to see it.
I think they made a mistake. I read a profile of Obama one time where it was he had that, his staff would take some of the more notable letters that came in from American citizens, and every night, for an hour or two before bed, he would sit and read them. He'd respond to some of them. But some of them were from people who were falling on hard times. Sometimes he'd put like a couple $100 in there
No.
and like send them money.
You're not supposed to send money through the mail. The president should know that more than anybody. I wish I hadn't voted for him a second time now.
Taco Bell.
Unbelievable.
Menu. So yeah, I did have a Taco Bell.
Mitt Romney wouldn't have done that, Tim. He would have sent a traveler's check to be safe.
No, Mitt Romney would have been like, well, keep pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. I think your problem is you're very, very lazy.
Anyway, you were talking about
Chipotle. A second ago, I kept saying Taco Bell. But...
I had Chipotle last week, by the way. I found that there's a Chipotle not as close to me as yours is, but an 8-minute drive away, and I have a car. And
That's pathetic.
Stupid. They sent me an email saying, "We'll tell you what, you buy a meal, we'll give you another meal for free." So then
that's the oldest trick in the book.
So then
the other meal had fallen on the floor, Tom.
So
that's the only way they're getting rid of the meal. I bet. Let me guess. You couldn't choose what meal it was.
Well, yeah.
And it had flecks of dirt and hair in it.
All I asked was, don't tell me which one. Then I can enjoy both with a clear conscience.
Yeah. What's your go-to at Chipotle?
Okay, here's my go-to. If I'm being bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you're being good, it's what, a bowl or a salad?
If I'm being good, I go to somewhere that isn't Chipotle. But yeah, if you're being, and in all honesty, they're bowls and salads. I'll tell you what, their salad dressing is phenomenal. That like honey vinaigrette.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't like getting salad from places or lettuce from places.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what got everybody sick.
Yeah.
And I will say this, I have never been a fan of lettuce in my burritos.
Me neither.
Good.
And somebody, are people going to write in and be like, no, this is what a burrito is? I don't care.
Go to hell.
What I'm eating is just what I like, not what.
Right.
I got so mad at Pat Sajak the other day.
Oh, Tim, you shouldn't be watching Wheel of Fortune.
It was a commercial for Wheel of Fortune during Jeopardy, and Vanna White and Pat Sajak were traveling together, and
it looked now during COVID.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Pat Sajak believes in COVID?
Yeah.
And it looked like Vanna White was gonna put ketchup on a hot dog, and Pat Sajak was about to freak out, and I think punch her in the face was the premise of the bit.
Right.
But then she put the ketchup on her fries, and she's like, "Oh, did you think I was going to put ketchup on a hot dog? Never." Who are these people who are like, "Oh, you could never put ketchup"? Shut up! I like ketchup on my hot dog. Who cares?
Fine. I have ketchup and mustard on a hot dog. It's fine. It's good.
Yeah, these people are like, "Oh, it's not real unless you eat it the way that I happen to like it." Shut up.
Yeah. Like
it's not authentic. I don't care. I don't care what's authentic, and nothing's authentic to you. if you're a person living in America in 2020, you've never had an authentic anything.
Yeah. There's no such thing as an authentic hot dog. It's like, are you talking about a Frankfurter?
Yeah.
In which case, you shouldn't even be. That thing should be gigantic, and it should be tough to eat. I don't like German sausages. Anyway.
I don't like Pat Sajak.
Well, that was neither here nor there. But here's what my go-to is. I get burrito. But like I said, I've had burrito bowls. They're very good too. Burrito, white rice, although the brown rice is good. And the quinoa is pretty good too. But I will get white rice.
Do they have freaking quinoa?
They do at the test kitchen.
Oh,
sorry.
Sorry. Park Avenue Tom has entered the room.
All right. If I can get anything I want, this is not my normal order, but if I'm really pushing the boat out, I'll get that. I'll get black beans. I'll get chicken. I do occasionally get steak if I haven't had steak in a while, but usually I get chicken. I like their chicken more.
Tom, in my meat eating days, I've never liked steak, except for the steak in a Chipotle burrito.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. I think I just like the shape of it, the little cubes. I think
Yeah,
it's cute.
it's like a steak all cut up for you already. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's nice. Yeah, it's for when my dad's not around to cut up the steak.
Then I'll get the corn salsa.
Okay.
I don't get any of the other salsas.
Okay. I'm not. Look, Tom.
Yeah.
You said that very defensively, like I was going to jump down your throat about it.
Well, but I'll tell you what at the end.
I'll tell you what for.
And then I get sour cream and cheese. I don't normally get guacamole, but if it's on if it's on you, then I'll get guacamole on my burrito.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. Say you want guacamole after they've like already done, so they don't like make room for the guacamole. You gotta tell them everything. If you tell them everything up front, then they're like, "Oh, we gotta leave room." But if you're like, "No, this is all I want," then you can be like, "Oh, wait a minute," and they're gonna have to stuff more in there.
Tom, you're playing yourself. That's only going to make it a disaster to eat.
That's fine. And then,
okay, sorry.
Well,
but
let me just finish by saying what I was going to say about the no salsa thing is that then when I'm eating it, I will put the Chipotle Tabasco sauce on it as I'm eating it.
All right. That's nice.
I like to control the heat because if you ask for the hot salsa, sometimes they'll just like put a huge amount right in the middle. And it's like, well, that does me no good.
Right. Tom, I do not agree with
I said sour cream and cheese, right?
Yeah. And that always makes me feel like a real asshole when it's like sour cream and cheese.
Yeah,
I
but
feel
their sour cream
like
and cheese are so good.
I know, but in a reasonable person would choose either or.
No, a reasonable person. Look, you're already down a path. Get both. Who gives a shit? Tell them to put extra on. And then when they put extra on, be that person in line goes, a little more. More.
Oh, no. And people, one of the more famous hacks online
is to just keep saying that.
No, is to go half and half on two different meats.
Right.
And it's just like you get more.
Beans. Yeah.
You get more because they generally take more than half of each than they would. It's like, how much do you like the normal burrito that they like, use for the on the menu reporting the calories there. Like, when they
like
make those burritos,
calories.
it's like it's already like a day's worth of calories for you, and that is not a real world burrito.
Right.
That is like, oh yeah, we'll measure out exactly.
Yeah.
Normally, if it's 1,200 calories on the menu, it's going to be 1,800 calories when they make it normally. And people still want to shove more shit in there?
Well, and also, like...
How much can you... It's just not... It's untenable. You can't eat that much in one sitting.
If you want more... I mean, you can ask for, like, double the meat. I think it's like, I don't know, $4 more or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know.
I don't see prices, Tom. I'm a white-collar guy. I don't need to worry about this kind of thing.
I don't really... I don't know. I've never eaten... And I'm like a fairly big guy and have a ravenous appetite. And I've rarely left a Chipotle without feeling like I have to get to a toilet within 10 minutes or else my life's going to be ruined.
It's a horrible image you've left us with when I asked you was, what is your go-to order?
I'm just saying I've never been there and thought, I wish I got more. I've never wished I got more at Chipotle. I've always wished I got less. The shit's gotten smaller, I feel like. I don't know if anybody's...
the burrito?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's done like an investigative...
When you said, after what you said, the shit's gotten smaller, I was very confused.
Not mine. I don't know if anybody's done an investigation into this, but I feel like it's gotten smaller. But I think for no other reason than... It seems like they used to bust burritos a lot more often. They used to bust the tortillas a lot more often.
Yeah.
And now they've just gotten more reasonable and like more like, all right, here's what actually fits in a tortilla, everybody.
Another hack is quote unquote hack is that you
double
can,
tortilla.
and it's no extra charge. I believe.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But the calorie and fat content of one of
like,
those tortillas, like that's carrying most of the load in the like bad nutrition.
Yeah, it's crazy how I don't want to speak out of school, but I feel like it's something insane, like hundreds of calories in the tortilla.
Yeah.
And
Which it seems insane that like flour tortillas are generally just flour and water.
right. But I guess there's maybe like a lot of gluten in it or something and make it like stretchy. Glue?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a ton of gluton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it's so stretchy. Elmer's, I believe. A ton of Elmer's glue.
Well, okay. At least they're going with the name brand stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that's what does make it kind of crazy, that if you get a burrito bowl and basically if you're not getting the tortilla and the rice, you're like way ahead of the game.
Yeah. The rice is so good though.
Although I have noticed when I've been there recently, especially this last time, now they've got all these like different diet meals.
They're called lifestyle bowls, Tom.
Yes, lifestyle bowls.
And they have a partnership with the Whole30.
Mm-hmm.
That everything there is compliant, and it's just like lettuce.
Well, not everything there, but if you get a Whole30 meal.
Yeah, everything in the bowl is compliant.
Well, I'm just saying, not everything in the restaurant. That's what it made you. That's
Then
what it
why did
sounded
I-
like. Like, oh, I can get a extra large Coca-Cola. And
Why
that's,
would I bring up the bowl and then start talking about the entire restaurant?
I don't know. That's why I thought it was crazy, and I wanted to stop you.
Thank you for stopping me. They have a keto salad bowl.
Yeah.
They have a paleo salad bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They have a high protein bowl. They have a vegan bowl, and they have a vegetarian bowl.
And I didn't think, like, what's the difference between like Whole30, keto, and paleo?
You know,
Like, it's got to be like one ingredient, right? That for each of them, that one.
yeah, it looks like the Whole30 is the same as the keto, except it has chicken instead of steak.
Okay.
Yeah, they all look pretty much the same.
Right.
I think they're just trying to keep up the guys that like, no, these are all different diets.
Well, and also, like, if you're following one of those diets, like, those diets are, like, fairly simple. So it's not like they're, like, doing anything crazy. It's like, oh, no, if you're doing, like, a keto diet, then you know, oh, I can't have sour cream and cheese, or I can't have dairy. Like, it's not, like, some crazy special thing they're making for you.
Right. No, but it's a nice shorthand. It's
Sure.
an easy way to go in there.
Yeah, and
And-
I'm sure tons of people that don't do those diets order those meals thinking like, this is just as good as going on that diet.
You want to know what my go-to has been lately?
Sure.
And I think this qualifies maybe as a hack. No, not really. Just go for the tacos.
Yeah, the tacos
It's all
are
the
pretty
same
good.
stuff. It's cheaper, and it's a little less food.
Well, there's no rice, right?
No, you could put rice in it. I had rice in mine tonight, my friend.
Oh, I feel like normally, though, the tacos don't have rice unless you ask.
No, they just bring you down the same thing. So you can, in the app, you can order
Well,
one
the
taco
app
or
is-
3 tacos.
sure.
But if you're in store,
Mm-hmm.
what I recommend, and if you're like kind of hungry but you're not looking to be sick for the rest of the night, get 2 tacos, and you'll get like all the fillings that you would get in a burrito, but it's just a manageable size, and you'll pay appropriate. You'll pay comparable to the size that you're eating.
It's a prorated rate.
Yeah, essentially, it's a way to prorate a burrito
Yeah.
because the soft flour tortillas that they use are smaller versions of the
Yeah, it's the
of
same.
big. Yeah, so like it's just a more it's a more reasonable way to live your life.
The tacos are good, and I've had the tacos in situations where I might not be sure how quickly I can get to a bathroom.
Right.
I mean, look, you're never going to see Chipotle advertise them that way, but that's what they're very good for.
Now, what do you know about the kids' meals?
I know they have quesadillas, right?
They have a quesadilla, but they also have a build-your-own taco.
Okay.
And I think this is good. Remember last week
and they
we were
let you
talking
behind the back? Maybe that's why they've been having so many problems with
well, you have to be a kid, but they let you put your
kids,
grubby
kids are
fingers that have been up your nose in the last
they don't
4
even
minutes.
make you use the spoons. They just let the kids put their hands in.
Yeah, come on. It's fun that way. It's all squishy. It's like when you feel the witch's hair and it's just cold spaghetti. But this is, remember last week when we were talking about Taco Bell and you were like, I could go there for a snack and I can't go to Chipotle for a snack.
Right.
The kids meal, you get like a couple shells and then there's 3 compartments in it. And you can get like any 3 stuff. So you can get like a meat, some cheese, and some salsa in there. Or you can get like cheese, sour cream, and fajita veggies, or whatever you want, and you can build a weird Frankenstein snack like that.
Okay.
And they're pretty cheap. So, and also you can get an organic chocolate milk on the side.
I don't want chocolate milk when I'm eating Chipotle. I'll tell you this much: Chipotle, and I haven't mentioned this prior. Even though Chipotle sells beer, and I think they sell like margaritas now, maybe, I almost never get that because they've got some of the best Coca-Cola in the game. And Chipotle is also one of the few places where I will get, not always, but I will get a regular Coca-Cola from the fountain there because it is so good. And because also, like, if I'm at Chipotle, I'm like, fuck it, I've given up on today. I want a giant burrito and I want a nice big Coca-Cola with unlimited refills.
Yeah, see.
But they do also have Coke Zero on tap, which is my favorite. So sometimes, you know what? It's been a while since I've gone for a full Coke there. I will do mostly Coke Zero with maybe a splash of Coke.
You gotta get off the soda, man.
Fuck you. I'll never get off this soda. Get off. Why don't you get off my back?
Tom.
Sorry, I haven't had a soda in a while.
We're low on time in Chipotle Part 2.
All right, well, Part 3 next week.
Yeah. Let's talk about it, Tom. Their queso. Their queso was very controversial when they introduced it. It was a late addition to the game.
Yeah, and I saw it very early at the test kitchen.
That's cool. I mean, I don't know how much you have to brag about the fact that you frequent the Chipotle test kitchen, and you also say whenever you enter a Chipotle, you've written off your day, and you just decide to eat like shit and act like the worst person on earth.
Those two things are mutually exclusive, Tim. They have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, the queso there, and this is my feelings about the overall Taco Bellification of Chipotle, that the queso I felt is unnecessary. Queso's great, don't get me wrong, but I can get a burrito with sour cream and cheese already. I don't need queso.
Yeah. Also,
and queso isn't going to replace one of those two things for me, so it's a moot point.
And the way that I've always liked queso is just with chips. You dip some chips into queso.
I've got a good hack for you, actually, because this is what I did recently. If you're ordering online, I ordered, we got burritos and chips. And chips.
Potato chips?
No, tortilla chips with guacamole, of course. They have great guacamole. Yeah. I've always been a fan of their guacamole. I got queso on my burrito. However, on the side, and I think it was like $1 or something. And then they give you a little thing of queso, and it was like, great, guess what? Joke's on you guys. I'm not putting it on the burrito. I'm going to put some chips in it.
Right.
And it was a lot.
It's $1.40, Tom. So,
well, but that was like half the price of getting a regular side of it.
$2.70. Yeah, almost exactly half.
Right. And it was probably more than half the amount, I'll be honest with you. But it was like, well, I'm already getting chips and guac, so I want a little queso, but not a lot. That's my hack.
Here's my problem with the queso, and people were complaining about it, that it's like, oh, it's bland or whatever. And Steve Ailes was like, look, we're not using a bunch of fake shit like Velveeta in here like everybody else uses in their queso. We're using like all natural ingredients, and that's why it tastes the way it does. But it's like, no, the Velveeta and like all that fake processed stuff is what makes it taste good.
Yeah, put Velveeta in there, you knucklehead.
Yeah, like, why are you going to do a thing if it's like, yeah, well, we're going to make a fresh version that's bad. But I had it today, Tom, and I've never had it before, and I got it with some chips to test it out. My problem is it doesn't taste like anything.
Right.
It just tastes like nothing. It's got like a good texture, but like at least like add some salt. I feel like if they just put some salt in it,
yeah, I was
gonna
say even just salt, it would improve it. And that's the thing. It's like natural cheese. Good cheese has strong flavors.
Yeah,
you can't just say, "Oh, well, this is all natural, so it doesn't have any flavor to it."
I mean, it's look, to each his own, to each their own, and it's if you like the queso, that's cool. And I'm not somebody who's like, this queso isn't authentic, because I don't think any queso I've ever had has been authentic. But I know most of the queso I've had, like in Austin, the only place remotely that might have remotely authentic queso, it was great, and it was definitely not made from all natural ingredients.
Yeah, at least American queso. Anytime I've had queso, it's been like, holy shit, I want to drink this.
Right.
And I don't know how authentic it is, but it's delicious. And that's why I'm saying to get a small thing with chips isn't bad. But when you spend like almost $3 putting it on your burrito and then you don't even taste anything different, it makes you want to kill yourself. It makes you want to jump off the roof of a building. You've thrown away everything.
If you spent $3 extra,
if it's the last $3 you have.
No, it's $1. It's $1.40.
Oh, okay.
We established.
All right, then it's not that bad, I guess.
Tom, what do you think about the atmosphere in normal times in a Chipotle?
It's fine. I like the fact that at least in the test kitchen, it's like
enough about the test kitchen.
It's mostly like communal tables. So
you like that?
I do, just because whenever I was going there, I was eating alone. So like I want a place to sit. And it's like multiple community. It's not just like one big Last Supper table.
Right.
But I just like that
but
there was
Jesus
like
there?
No.
Sometimes
Jesus was never in this Chipotle. Let me tell you, Tim, some of the things that went on there. Let me just tell you, some of the things they're testing are against God. I just liked that it was easy to find a seat for the most part.
What do you think about the music there, Tom?
I don't really notice it.
Well, Chris Golub would cry tears of sadness hearing this. Chris Golub owns a company called Studio Orca, who creates a musical identity for spaces.
Oh.
Chipotle is one of their clients, but it's by far the biggest client of theirs. And he must charge them so much money. But listen to this, Tom. Sometimes he'll have to look through 300 songs before selecting the perfect song for a Chipotle playlist.
I mean, that's not that very many songs.
And guess what? He has to take into account that...
and he's getting paid very well, I'm sure.
That there are concrete floors and steel in there. So he has to think about how each song's individual sounds will sound in a Chipotle. This guy probably has a contract with Chipotle.
Yeah.
And is selling them snake oil.
Yeah.
Where they could put on...
Good for him that he's...
Spotify's today's hits playlist.
Yeah.
And good for him. He probably has compromising pictures of Steve Ells or something.
Right.
To be like, who's this guy? What's Studio Orca? It's like, oh, they curate our musical identity in our stores. Oh, we're paying them, $2.3 million per year to do that? Yeah, well he has to scour through all these songs.
And they take into account that we have a lot of metal and concrete, unlike any other business that plays music.
Tom, I've long said...
So what does that mean?
I want to start a snake oil business that targets either the ultra-rich or corporate America.
Yeah.
Where it's like, where you can charge an egregious amount, and as long as you don't get too greedy, as long as you spin enough,
it's fine.
And use words that they don't understand,
right? And like nobody complains, like they're not playing any music that's like offensive to anyone.
Exactly.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
why
rock
the boat
business model? Like, just take.
I think
overcharge bad people for
you have to find
you
have to find a business on its way up and latch on, and then you become like such a small amount of their expenditure that it's like, well, who knows? Maybe this is the secret sauce and we don't want to rock the boat.
Exactly.
The best business to be in, preying on people's superstitions. Really is one of the best businesses to be in.
But if it's like it's different if it's like multi-$100 million corporation rather than old ladies trying to like widows trying to contact their deceased spouses on the other side.
Right. Yeah, that's not as nice. But if you could just take advantage of corporations, sure. Yeah. And it's not like you're bleeding the corporation dry.
And if you are, who cares?
Well, I think then you're going to raise suspicion. What you said initially was
I don't
right.
think there's anything ethically bad about charging Chipotle for snake oil.
And you can be greedy, but don't be too greedy. Know your place. And it's like, if you're charging like $2 or $3 million a year, they're never going to think about you, and they're just going to pay it. And guess what? You got $3 million for looking at 30 albums to find a song.
Yeah, you're going to work 4 hours a year. Just take the $3 million and like don't try to be like, but maybe I can get $12 million.
No,
you're getting greedy, Golub.
Yeah. What do you think about this? I don't think they do this anymore, but they used to have a policy on Valentine's Day that if you kissed in front of them, you would get a free burrito.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's still in effect. That's
I don't think so. It was in effect when I was in college.
Yeah. I mean, they used to do a lot of stuff where it's like if you dressed up like a burrito on Halloween,
right?
But all you really had to do is get a piece of aluminum foil and put it somewhere on your body.
Yeah, which is fine.
I think in college someone just took a piece of paper and wrote burrito and held it up against themselves and got a free burrito.
Well, in college, I would stand outside the Chipotle saying, I'll kiss you for a free burrito. You'll get a free burrito and I get a free kiss. Let's go inside.
Nice.
It was too long of a sign. People couldn't read it, I think, before they went in.
Well, that's why you should ask them to slow down.
That's what I would always, hey, sweetheart, slow down. Read the sign.
If you like the show, you can find out more information at tcgte.com.
If you want to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Complete Guide. Follow us on Twitter @Complete Guide. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram @Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at Your Pal Tim.
You can follow the show on Instagram at TCGTE. You can also support the show by checking out our sponsors. Also checking out Patreon at patreon.com/complete guide for our secondary podcast, Books the Podcast. This week, part 3 of Walter Mosley's Devil in a Blue Dress. Things are heating up, let me tell you. And you can hear all about it at patreon.com/complete guide. You get the back episodes too.
Yeah. Or we were alluding to, you can sign up and get early episodes. You can be hearing this a day early.
Could you imagine? I think like $3 more short, but sure.
But guess what? No, it's $3 more, but per month, Tom. So for every episode.
Oh yeah, less than $1.
And think about this: how nice it would be to listen to this on a pleasant Sunday morning,
right? Instead of a hectic Monday.
Yeah.
I have 2 other facts about Chipotle that might surprise you. Well, one might not. Did you know that their pinto beans are vegan now?
I never knew that they weren't.
Do you usually get the pinto beans?
No. I mean, I do now, but I knew they were vegan. But
yeah, the pinto beans used to have, I think, like bacon fat, but now they don't. I used to get pinto beans all the time, and then I switched to black beans, and I kind of never looked back.
I go back and forth.
Yeah,
depends on my mood.
You know what? I haven't had pinto beans in a long time. I've had refried beans, which are great, but not just straight up pinto beans. Anyway.
I think it's time you give them another shot, Tom.
And the second fact, did you know that Chipotle, for their chicken, only uses leg and thigh meat? They sell the breast meat to Panera Bread.
Wow.
Right?
That's some synergy right there.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think they have any other real corporate connections. But I mean, maybe because like Panera Bread and Qdoba used to be enemies, as alluded to last week, where Panera sued Qdoba, and maybe Chipotle was like, the friend of my friend is my enemy, or the enemy of my friend is my friend. And
somebody was
angry. What is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. God damn.
Did it really take you like 45 seconds
I wasn't really
to work that out?
thinking about how the whole thing works, but now I think about it and it makes sense. And then it makes sense. Of course, if they're the enemy of your enemy, you're going to sell them the breast meat that presumably you used to just throw out.
Tom, somebody was really angry with you for referring to Qdoba as an also-ran.
Yeah.
I had Qdoba over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've been eating a lot of fast casual Mexican lately. And I think their menu is a little bit more expansive. You can have more options in your burrito. And they have Impossible beef.
Oh, do they?
Which I don't really love.
All I know is the last time I had Qdoba, which was actually not that long ago, I ordered it through DoorDash and did contactless pickup. And the guy called me outside and was like, I'm outside my car, come get it. It's like, well, that's not contactless. In fact, it's more contact than usual. And I had given like a very nice, like, pandemic tip.
What percentage?
I forget what percentage it was, but it was $8.
$8 on a $600 order?
No, it wasn't. It was like a normal order.
For how many people?
For 2 people.
All right.
It was probably like a $25, $30 order, and I gave an $8 tip.
Pandemic rules, you're under tipping.
Well, this guy under-delivered because he didn't even like come to my door and knock. He didn't even come to the front door of the apartment building. And he wasn't even on my side of the street. He was on the other side of the street. I had to cross the street to go get it. I might as well have just gone to Qdoba myself. Unbelievable. Bad place. I mean, that guy didn't work for them, but bad place. You know that they're piloting cauliflower rice at Chipotle.
I don't care about that. I'm not worried about rice. If it's like, oh, I can't have the calories in rice, I'm just not gonna friggin' go to Chipotle.
Wow.
Well, let's be reasonable here, everybody.
I don't think I've ever had cauliflower rice. I like cauliflower, so I probably like cauliflower rice. I like rice too.
Tom, do you have problems with the white rice that has cilantro in it?
No, although thank you for remembering, Tim, that I'm one of the people that cilantro tastes like soap.
Yeah, one of the liars. You just don't like cilantro. Just admit it.
Not a liar. In Chipotle, I feel like they use very little of it.
Yeah.
So
you can
I'm
order
fine
it
with
without. You can have rice without cilantro.
Oh, really?
in it.
Oh,
yeah.
But are you gonna like hold up the line and everything?
Yeah, they'll make it fresh or something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they can't make it fresh because what are they going to do? Boil rice for 20 minutes?
No, but they probably got like some rice in the back that they haven't cilantroed up yet. Because that was actually how I found out that that's how I feel about cilantro. Because like I always loved Chipotle rice, and I was like, oh, it must be cilantro. And then I had something with like a real amount of cilantro. I was like, this tastes like soap.
Sad life you live, Tom.
Well, it's my
We all feel bad for you.
it's my genetics, so you shouldn't make fun of me for it.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying that you're bad. You're a bad person.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.